Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and to my bedroom. If you're new here, subscribe. Hey, this is Ashwara. I have been using Maybelline Fit Me Concealer since 4 years now. I'm here to share my users experience, my review, product demo of all the shades I own. Over the years, I bought these 4 shades: 20 sandsable, 25 medium, 30 honey and 36 golden. They all fit the bill for different purposes on my skin color. These are my shades across different brands for reference. Starting with the lightest shade, 20 sandsable. I'm going to show all the concealers with foundation on one side and without foundation on the other side. Sandsable is a very light lemon yellow undertone concealer. It's very brightening. It's like that typical banana undertone. And this is the side with foundation. That is how it looks. I'll switch off the ring light. This is without the ring light. It doesn't cover the ashiness under my eyes completely. This works as a very good brightening shade for my skin. The next shade is 25 medium moyen, pinky undertoned medium complexion concealer. Pinky undertone in it kind of lifts and brightens that area. It is very pretty that way. If you think the banana yellow sort of gives you a little bit of ashiness like what it gives me, unless I do color correction first and then use it, in that case it works. But if you don't want to do that, in that case this pinky undertone concealer is another really good option if you want that brightening with one product without the ashiness. This is the shade that I like to use when I'm not wearing any makeup, because this shade, it just meshes into the skin really well. I mean, for my complexion. You can see how you can't tell where the concealer begins and where it ends. This is the side with foundation. The foundation shade that I'm using is a really good match for my skin. So maybe you guys can't like notice any difference. But you can see the side without foundation. You can see my mole, you can see some spots. The skin looks more even. You do need to set it, guys. You must set it with powder. Or at least in my experience, I have to. Otherwise, it just keeps moving and shifting. This is not like Tarte Shape Tape. The next shade is 30 in honey. This is the side without foundation and this is the side with foundation. This is a very peach undertone concealer. Like how we see the correctors by Benefit or Bobbi Brown correctors. This is one of those shades. To me, this is more like NC40. If you've ever used MAC Studio Finish NC40, which has like very orange undertone, this to me is reminiscent of that. This is a shade that I have a little bit of problem blending it into the skin when I wear it on its own, because you can like tell exactly where it's finishing and where my skin is starting because of that peach undertone. If I don't want to wear foundation, I have to some loose powder and take that powder like around my cheek also, sort of just unify the shade. Like this is the side with foundation. If you have bluish purplish veins under your eyes and you don't want to buy a separate corrector, then this would be a really good shade. If you're going to use pigmented compact anyway, then this would be really useful for you. Use this one product, corrector plus concealer, and then apply compact and go to office. This I think will be a good shade for you if you're my skin color. The next shade is 36 in golden. I'm gonna apply it on the side with no makeup and this is the side with makeup. This shade, like a really good yellow. This is NC42 yellow. Not the Studio Finish liquid foundation that has very strong orange undertones. The NC42 Studio Finish concealer, the one that comes in the pot, that one has a very strong yellow undertone. And the more you blend it out, the more it sort of, you know, the yellowiness sort of disappears and meshes into your skin. I just buff the edges like that. I'm just going to set the concealer. I want to share like this one tip with you guys, like user's experience. I have almost finished medium sandsable. Honey is half over. Golden is also on its way. It's not like a pro tip, just a tip. Apply it, I look straight in the mirror. Wherever I see ashiness, I apply it there and leave it. I let it sit. I let it semi-dry for like a very short, like 30 seconds to maybe 45 seconds. Don't let it sit for a very long time. Blend the edges. I've made a video on it in shorts. If you want a dedicated video on it, tell me. I'll make a dedicated video on this technique. Now the problem with building up this concealer is the more I layer it, the more my under eye starts creasing. So I discovered this one technique. I don't know what to call it. Semi-dry technique. I think I'll call it the semi-dry concealer technique. If you directly go and blend it when it's in liquid state, it will give you the kind of coverage that you have seen right now, which is like a light to medium kind of coverage. So let's talk about the positives. Glass half full. Easily available. Every mall you will get this. Reasonably priced. The consistency is very smoothing, and it's got that typical silicone slip. The silicone slip that MAC NC42 does not have. Studio Finish concealer. That Shape Tape does not have. LA Girl Pro concealer, that one has, but a little less. That slips and slides a bit too much. This does that, but less. I have these 4 shades, would suit somebody 3 shades lighter than me and 3 shades darker than me. Having really dark shade, sort of rare in drugstore, which is kind of sad. Love that Jovita calls every brand out on it. Yeah, Maybelline, if you're listening, there need to be more darker shades. They just have to. We need more. Coverage is medium. You can shear it out with a sponge. You can sort of build up the coverage if you use my semi-dry technique. It has that smoothing quality where it doesn't exaggerate texture. Like if you have some blocked pores here, it'll sort of gloss over it. When some really matte concealers can sort of amplify the texture, it doesn't do that. And this is not sponsored, guys. I have bought these with my own money. And because it is not sponsored, I can tell you glass half empty. Whenever I apply it directly on my skin, whenever I do that for 2-3 days continuously, it sort of blocks my pores. Over here, small texture balls sort of come up. Even if I remove it and then I apply toner and exfoliation, even then it blocks my pores. So I apply this concealer never directly on my skin. Either I apply it on top of a primer, which means every time I use this I have to use a primer, or I apply it on top of CC cream. As long as I'm doing that, it's fine. Some concealers are like non-comedogenic. This is comedogenic. Just because it happened to my pores doesn't mean it's gonna happen to your pores. I mean, I'm dry skin anyway, but that's the reason why I won't be buying it again. If I do really like need a concealer and this is my budget, in that case I think I'll buy the shade Golden, which really suits my yellow undertone skin, hides the ashiness, or I'll buy the shade Medium. Because of the pinky undertone, it really lifts and brightens everything.
Subscribe for more makeup therapy and good vibes.